Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Females made you just to trick me, trick me, trick me, trick me. 'Cause baby girl, you are so easy, baby. The only reason that I can do tonight is 'cause I know you were invited. The only reason that this dress is skin tight is 'cause I thought that you would like it. I'm only come for this.
On this episode of Jessica Javens Talk, we have co-host Yolanda M. Smith.
Hey, hey.
So happy to see her. It was such a great surprise. And we have an amazing international artist, and her name is KHuggs. And we're going to learn a little bit about her, and the topic today is authenticity. So I'm very, very excited. So welcome, beautiful women. Thank you so much for being here. This is awesome. So tell us a little bit about you, KHuggs. We were chatting a little while ago, and I've always been in love with music. I have an artistic side of myself. I was born and raised in Brazil. I love dance. I love music. That goes in my blood. Yeah. But what you told me about where you're coming from in your family, I was kind of like in awe. I'm like, wow. So tell me a little bit about that experience and how you came to be KHuggs.
Well, KHuggs is the branding came later on in life, but the music started off like it's from the very beginning. My mom was always like a choir director. She's a composer, singer, songwriter, plays piano, organ, also teaches all those things.
Wow.
So growing up, I was always in choir rehearsals in different churches, and she was also the choir director over our school. I went to a private school, and she was over that too. So I was always in choirs in school. I was always singing somewhere, and so it didn't seem like something to do. It just seemed like it was just it was a normal part of life. And I wrote my first song. She thinks when I was 3, but I think I was 7. So I was literally just doing what I do, and a song just popped in my head, and she overheard me singing it, and she came out of her room and started playing on the piano and taught it to her choirs. I was 7 years. And again, I didn't think anything of it. I'm just like, heard a melody, came up with some words, and was like singing it and not thinking it was just normal. And then later on, I'm like, okay, I guess that's not normal.
Yeah, it's not. So that's amazing. Yeah. That's beautiful.
That's called for real in your bones. The music is in your bones.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And it's not just my immediate family. I've got siblings also who sing, and two of my 6 siblings also have albums out. And one is a surgeon. Well, he's in medical school, about to graduate from being a surgeon. He dropped an album right before he went to med school. He's a crooner, kind of put him in the mind of Music Soul Child. And then the other one is the hype music. Like, he's got the hype music if you're like getting dressed to go out. He also plays guitar, sings, and raps. And we do collab together. And then I've got cousins, and just
amazing. You guys were born and raised here?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I was reading something about you that you, because I love to ask, like, what's the genre, but it seems like you like the eclectic thing.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about why, and where is that coming from, that creativity?
I just like music, period. And I don't want to be, typecast into one genre. So when I first started coming out with my own music, I left a cover band, and I had people at church saying, hey, are you going to do gospel? And I had people out saying, hey, are you going to do R&B? And then I had other people saying, hey, are you a soul singer? And it's like, no, I'm a singer, and I'm going to sing whatever comes to mind, whatever's on my heart, whatever feels good. That's what I'm going to do.
So I love that. And this is what we were going to kind of start steering to, is authenticity.
Yes, absolutely.
So what does authenticity mean to you?
Well, I have a good answer for that. So my second album, actually, let's start with the first one. It's called She Reigns, but it's spelled rain from a cloud. And the muse of that is a song, She Reigns, on that album. That's spelled King and Queen Reign. Oh. So She Reigns, I spelled it like a cloud because it kind of takes you through a journey. It takes you through different emotions. So you start off kind of fun, and then it goes into like love, and then it goes into a little bit of heartbreak, and then it comes into back to love and spoken word. And so it takes you on a journey of like an outpouring of emotion, kind of like a cloud. And so that's why I named it that. And so there's neo soul, EDM, spoken word, and gospel and R&B music on that album. And then the second album is Naked, and a lot of people were just kind of nervous because I grew up in church and have a lot of like churchy friends and family, so they thought I was about to just come
like
out
it's
with
hot.
some crazy stuff. And Naked is about like being open and transparent, and I open and end the album with spoken word. And the tracks were produced by a cousin of mine, Big Beats. And it kind of gives you like a Moments in Love kind of feel with percussion. That's kind of the vibe I wanted with it. And starting off the album talking about like being naked, we come into the earth naked, uncovered, unguarded, sacred. And the end of the album, I'm talking about we're being born free and talking about purpose. And I intentionally did that because I want to, I guess, promote authenticity, not with just myself, but starting with myself to just kind of be an example of it, and then just show people that you don't have to be stuck in one thing. Like you can, whatever it is that your heart desires and your vision is, I want to portray that in my music. Like you can do anything you want to do. Like, and I say that about myself, I can do whatever I want. And I tell other people that you can do whatever it is that you want to do.
So let me ask you this. So who's your ideal audience?
Music lovers of all ages. I do appeal to like an adult audience because I do have some, I guess, love songs that have like some sensuality into it. And this is going to sound crazy, but I did grow up in church. And so I sneak some stuff that's even from the Bible into those, even though it's sensual, because I want people to get
well, there's love in the Bible. Now, wait a minute. Let's not get it twisted.
Right.
It's about it, and it can get kind of racy. So that's
if you know certain things, like if you might catch it. You might catch some of the things that I talk about if you know certain things. But if you don't know, even if you don't catch it, it's going to give you a new perspective on like on how you look at love songs, like certain things that I say, certain things that I sing, and it might get a little racy, but at the same time, it's always in the context of two becoming one.
Gotcha.
That's very pretty, and I know that you use a lot of poetry.
Yes.
So where was that born?
Wow. So kind of with the story of me writing a song when I was young. So that's when I started writing, but that came with the melody. But the 3-year-old thing is that my mom thought that I started writing I was in a play, and I was always learning poems in the private school growing up. Like we learned through poetry, we learned math, and just all of our classes was learned through poetry. Even the books of the Bible we clapped and sung, it was always rhythm and poetry. So that school, a lot of us were advanced. And so it came from that. And then also my dad, we never knew that he had like a talent in music or poetry. And he was always like, he's a retired engineer, and he wrote a book of poetry, and he told my older brother and I, he was like, yeah, I'm going to write a book of poetry. And we were like, oh yeah, whatever. It ended up being really good, and it's published, and it's in the libraries, and like,
wow, that's amazing.
So I get it from both sides.
And it's a big thing right now. As a matter of fact, I've got a friend, we call him HB, that literally is taking poetry and putting it to music.
Yes.
And it's amazing how they're doing that, even using artificial intelligence and other means to be able to take your spoken word. And I think the idea there is that, you've got certain people that are drawn to poetry.
Yeah.
But how do you get more people into what the poetry is saying? And when you put the music with it, it changes everything. But the word is still the word, right? And he is really doing well working with a lot of people who want to get their stories out there. So that's amazing. Yeah.
So the spoken word, I guess, community is a pretty tight-knit community. I had actually got into it like really deep. I'd say like mid 2000s, like 2010, like between 2010, there was something called Midtown. They used to have it on Sundays. It used to be on like off 38th Street near college. And all these poets would come together. It was like an open mic, and it was a beautiful establishment. And it was like a lot of poets coming together, and I got to know a lot of them in the community. And so they're tight knit. So if the poets are doing something, a lot of times you'll see other poets like always together. Sometimes it's with music, sometimes it's without music. Without the music, you just kind of get the raw feel of what's being said. The music, though, it brings another element of feeling. So, for example, on She Reigns, I have a poem that I wrote, but I write everything that I do, but I call it a download because I was literally watching my son get on the bus, and this poem came to me. It was like it wasn't specifically about me, but it's called intuition. And it's really about me just like feeling things and seeing things and noticing things, and people seeming like they have it all together, but you can tell they're hurting. And so that's what intuition is about. And so the music that comes with that, like, brings a lot of feeling and depth into that song. And yeah, if people have that my gospel song on there, "Send Me an Angel," was birthed from me going through my divorce, and I was having a pity party one day in the bathtub, and I was like, dang, why? Like, I need your help, and why you let me go through all this? And then it turned in from a pity party to like, wow, you gave me all this, like, okay, why not me? And then I wrote "Send Me an Angel," and it's basically about like, I need your help and send me more angels to deflect what's not of you. And so I have that. And then the last one, the poetry "Resurrection," that's also about my divorce. It's like losing yourself and then coming back to life. And the music for that like really brings that out. Like, I got
goosebumps
really
all over.
People really react to it. And that's why I do it, because I want people to not just be entertained. I want them to get something from it, like something from it. Like,
you know what? And we need to do more of that, right?
Yeah.
To help people have that self-reflection, to help people really understand too, that they're not alone in this journey, and that there's other people that feel certain things. And while social media can have us all looking like we're in a perfect state of being, that is so superficial and not true. And it just scares me, because when you're not there, all of a sudden you then start to question yourself and wonder, what's wrong with me? And why am I not having the successes they are having? Why am I not having the relationships that they're having? When behind closed doors, it's a whole nother story. So I tell you, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, it is.
And
it can be.
And you just gotta,
you can't
just
compare it to
know, but
anybody else.
instead be willing to go deep within yourself, right?
Absolutely.
And be that authentic person, right? And that's the thing. How do you show up? So you talk about authenticity, and it's really about, how do you show up? Are you being your natural real self, or are you code switching?
I love that. And I really want to hear what you have to say, because this is an issue that I've been seeing a lot. I have 4 teenagers, and I see so much around going on, and it's so hard for people to feel authentic today because of everything that you just listed, and even more. It's just a craziness. Everything in such a speed that doesn't even allow you. We have to go back to humanity, back to who we truly are.
Right.
So what's your take?
So, especially in this music business, we get a lot of who people want you to be. I've had people want me to join them to do their style of music, which isn't who I am, or to sing a song that they wrote, which isn't my type of song, or people telling me I should be a gospel singer and sing for the Lord when that's not my vision. And people always trying to like give you what you're supposed to be, but you can't hear your own voice. And for me, I'm grew up spiritual, or hearing God's voice, or universe, whatever you believe. If you're listening to all these outside voices, you can't hear what it is you're supposed to do. And I was recently talking to another artist in the city, Dead Silence. We just worked together, and my cousin, and we were talking about passion versus purpose. And what I was saying to them, I was like, passion is what you naturally love, what you're naturally drawn to, what gives you joy. Music is that for me, whether it's radio, whether it's me creating it, whether it's artistry of any kind. That's what draws me in, is the music. However, it's with that passion, when it turns to helping others, when your passion turns into expanding other people around you, whether it's their consciousness or their joy or whatever it is, that's when your passion becomes your purpose.
Absolutely.
And that's the difference.
Yeah, that's when purpose is bigger than you, right?
Yes.
It's bigger than you.
Yes.
And I love that, because one of the things, I'm a coach, I'm a branding and business strategist. And one of the things I tell people so often is, you get into the passion and your superpowers and things like that, right? That's what you do well, what comes natural. You said like the music, it comes natural for you. It's like a story in your life, right? It's a chapter in your life. You didn't have to go and try to write that chapter.
Right.
That chapter was written for you. And so when it comes natural, you have that burning desire, right? For that. When you think about that purpose though, it's like, how do we have that impact that's beyond ourselves? And so the question I tell people often is, if you were to win the lottery, you know, and you just didn't need to work and you didn't really even need the money, what would you do with it? What would you do with it? Because that's powerful. Yeah, you go buy the nice house, but what would you really do if you had all that money? How could you make a difference in the world, right?
Oh man, that's something that I think about all the time, and not necessarily the lottery, but something I do want to generate wealth and create a legacy. And that legacy isn't just one of music and money or properties. I do love real estate. I've been a real estate investor in the past, and I would definitely build some communities. I have some ideas that I would definitely do that. But I'll also use my music to and that money to help independent artists grow their authenticity. Because a lot of these labels, when artists come out, they try to put you into this category and try to put you in that you can only do this type of music or you can only do this song. I'm going to do whatever I want. Like if I want to do an EDM song, I'm going to do that. If I want to do a R&B song, I'm going to do that. Because what I found is when I try to do what other people want me to do, not only am I not as happy, but it's not as good. And the doors of opportunity aren't as great. But when I'm authentically myself, even if I look crazy being myself, or even if other people are like, oh, you shouldn't do that. When I do it and it feels good, the door is open and I don't even have to try. Like, I don't have to ask to be in a festival. I don't have to ask to open for major artists. Like when I'm authentic, it just comes, and that's how I know I'm doing the right thing.
This is magic to my ears. It's music. It's beautiful because I struggled with finding my authenticity.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you kind of were nurtured into that your entire life.
Yes.
Because of that environment of music and poetry and art. So you had a lot of that.
Yes.
And in my situation, I feel it's nobody else, it's my own, but I feel like I had to always care so much about what others were thinking that I catered to that most of the time for decades in my life. And so for me to be finally myself, which is the most freeing feeling I ever had, it is something incredible that I had to find. I didn't know how it was going to pop up, but I kept searching, you know what I'm saying? And I kept allowing it. So for me, this is my message. Like, you need to be open and allow it to yourself. What would you suggest for people who are feeling maybe stuck, unhappy, and they don't have all of that feeling that you described? It sounds like a dream for most people. Like, wow, she's empowered, right?
There was a long period of time where I wasn't empowered, which is where Send Me an Angel and Resurrection come from. I don't want to go too deep into it, but I was in a marriage where he knew that I was singing before we got married, and then as soon as we got married, did not want me to sing. And I caught myself compromising and doing what he wanted me to do, and he was able to, you know, I won't say he did it because I also made the decision. So I made the decision for my marriage to not do something that I truly loved. And we would get into arguments about it. And when I went into the studio, it was just always like a battle. But I was so unhappy and I felt like lost. Like I felt like it wasn't something that I just missed doing. I wasn't just trying to be on TV. I just love music. Like that's all I wanted to do. And so I do.
He took your happiness. That's
part of, yes.
I mean,
yes.
No matter if you allowed it, you compromised for the relationship, but that's essentially what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
It's almost her identity too, in a way.
Yes, it was. Exactly. My identity, what brought me joy. Those are things that I would say when we would have those arguments or discussions, if you know what you want to call it that. Like, why would you want to take something from me that I love so much? And it didn't make any sense to me. But I'll tell you, like, as soon as I was out of that situation, I started writing again. I ended up with a cover band, and then I was telling the cover band I write, and nothing was happening there. So then I left the cover band and wrote my first song that was on my first album. It's called So Long. It was my first single, and wasn't thinking anything of it. This is what I mean when I say when you're authentic, things happen. So I literally was like, hey, I just wrote this song. I recorded it with a platinum producer. I was like, let me know what you guys think. And then I got like 3 bookings. After I just left my band in that week, I got 3 bookings, and then other musicians were coming saying, hey, I want to work with you. And then I ended up like opening for like some major artists. I was touring other cities, and it's like, wow, like all I had to do was just do what I love, and it just came to me. And so what I would say to the person who feels stuck or struggling, the best way to get unstuck is, and this is what I tell my kids, I'm like, are you happy? Like, if you say yes to this decision, are you going to be happy with it, or are you going to be happy with it now and unhappy later? Like, let your yes be your yes and not to please someone else.
That's a scripture too. Your yes be yes.
Yeah.
No,
I
no.
like it.
Yes.
I like it a lot. That makes a lot of sense.
And that's simple. And that's simple.
It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Overcomplicate life.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, we do. We have a way of doing that. But again, it goes back to trying to fit into what we feel like somebody else will look at us and say, then that's successful.
Yeah.
Or that's how it's supposed to be, instead of just being ourselves. And what I hear you saying is you're serving. And when you just put the music out there and you put it out there with no expectation, you know, you're not chasing
Yeah.
the money. You're actually operating in your purpose and your passion. The reward comes to you. I tell people this all the time. Serve, serve, serve. The reward will come.
Yeah.
When you're chasing paper, you end up hustling backwards.
Yes.
Trust me when I say that.
I love that.
Yes, it's just a fact. I've seen it often.
Or you have burnout.
Well,
and it takes away your
and
love.
not only that, they don't even do the right things with it. It's that money comes fast and it goes faster. I mean, it's just amazing how you see that, and it just becomes like it fuels you like a drug.
Yes.
And so it's never going to be enough, no matter where you. Yeah, who wants to operate in that level of chaos? I know I don't at this point in my life. I mean,
you had that. She was in corporate for so long, and I was too, and it was exactly what you just described.
It was never enough. Trying to get to the next level, trying to do this, trying to do this, trying to do this.
There's never fulfillment.
And you're up against all these obstacles as women. Let's talk about that. As women, and then you are faced with all these challenges and these obstacles. You're not going to get equal pay for equal work. You're going to hit the glass ceiling. They're going to let you go where you want to go. And God forbid if you're a minority, because now it's double jeopardy, because unless you can serve them in the box that they used to have to check, I mean, a lot of times you wouldn't even get the opportunity. So it's so critical that we do that. And that's why entrepreneurship is the fastest growing segment in the industry today, and women entrepreneurs are growing the fastest. And so when you said I'm an independent artist, that says to me I'm taking control of my life.
I love it.
Mic drop.
Yes, I love it. I got goosebumps again.
Yes, and I do have to say that, because there's been times that I've joined, people and it was, we had fun, we did a lot of things together, but then I noticed I was building their brand and not building my own brand, and not like focusing on the things that I wanted to promote under my brand. So it's like I didn't leave with any animosity. I left because I had to get back focused on what I was doing, instead of letting myself be, I guess, pulled into something that's not exactly what I love the music and I love working with the team, but at the same time, it was taking my focus away of my original plan, which was to promote my album and to promote authenticity and things like that. Yes.
There's power in doing it your way.
Is.
And I know that matters. And oftentimes we need guidance, right?
Yes.
We need our coaches, we need our mentors and those people with us. But ultimately, God gave you the vision. He didn't give it to them. And that's why I tell people all the time, not only that, you cannot, be upset at people that don't get it. You're fortunate to have a family of musicians. A lot of people are not fortunate. So if they wanted to pursue, music, people are going to be looking at them, oh, you need to go get a job. You need to do this. You need to do that. You know what I mean?
Every entrepreneur hears that.
Art the same way. The fact that you think you're going out on your own. I mean,
and sometimes your own family.
We have that sometimes people operate within that scarcity mindset and they just don't understand that. But I remember being very upset one time because the people closest to me were not supporting me.
Oh yeah.
And I remember I opened up and I was scrolling through social media, and a pastor popped up and he said, you can't be mad at your spouse, you can't be mad at your parents, you can't be mad at your siblings and your friends when they don't support you. They don't get it. He said, God gave you the vision. He didn't give it to them. And then literally within the same week, I was on a mastermind with a motivational speaker called Lisa Nichols. And I'd be darned if she didn't say the same thing. And I was like, there it is. And so then it took away the resentment that I was holding on to.
Pure light now.
Exactly. But think about it. That was hurting me. It wasn't hurting them. They're
They
going
were
about
fine.
I'm over here mad, upset. They living day
Just carrying that weight. Yeah.
And I know quite a few artists, and some of them do feel like that, like, oh, like my friends and family don't support me the way they should, and I have these fans that support me, and it's like, you know what? Let those fans support you. Your friends and family will come around. They know
will.
You as your sibling or your cousin.
Might
or your
take just a
friend
little
that
longer.
They hang out with and eat chicken wings. They don't see you as this person that could be Beyonce someday, or you know what I mean?
Right.
They see you as what they know, and they don't get it. So you just do what you love and let your fans be your fans. Like other people a lot of times strangers will love you before not love you, will love what you do sooner than the people that you know will. And then what happens is when the strangers blow you up, and when they're supportive, and things are happening, and your brand is growing and things are happening, then your friends and family will be like, oh wow, I'm so proud of you. Like, wow, how did that happen? You get all these questions. How did you do this? How did you do this?
Yeah.
How? I put out good music. I was authentic in it. I'm being who I want to be. And that's how. Like, that's it. Like, I'm not forcing anything.
I absolutely love this. But for me, it took so long for me to have a clear vision. I just thought, I have a job. I was given this opportunity. I better like it. Have to find a way of liking it. And I have to be grateful. So I was always accepting.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not deserving, because what am I? I'm going to dream. I'm going to I need to be grateful. So
but
I was
stuck. Okay, because that's
Yes,
generational teaching.
it is.
I just want you to understand, when we have those limiting beliefs, that's generational teaching. They taught us do what? Go to school, get a good job, stay at that job for 30 years so that you could have a retirement and get your pension and things. That's what we were taught. It's that slave mentality, that labor mentality.
True.
And it's still being taught today.
It is. But I never fed into my intuition. I never fed into my vision.
It's these larger companies. They want us doing all this work to build their brand and to build them up.
And their dream.
Come on now, sis.
Not ours, their dream.
That so we can build their dream. And
they make the millions and the billions while we're
stressed out every day.
There you go. Come on.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
So I shut myself down. I could not even envision what I wanted because I didn't even know how to. So when I came to, you know what was a breaking point for me? Me being completely discontent and have an extreme longing for being free and letting my creativity come out, because I was boxed in. And once I opened that door and I allowed it in, everything started shifting in my life. And when I did not know for sure what I was going to do, the question that I ask myself, that I learned from a coach, and this is what I teach my clients, is what would you love? And that's how, I need to look, what do I love? So that's how it started.
Yeah. You know, something you said, like, you felt discontent. And this is something I tell people all the time. Like, when I was younger, like, I used to worry, like, when things didn't go right, or if I had a plan and it wasn't going exactly as I hoped for. I used to be so down, like, oh my God, why didn't this work out? Oh, why didn't this work out? And then a lot of the times I noticed that when it didn't work out, something better worked out later. So I'm sitting here crying.
It ain't your plan, girl. It's God's plan.
For something that wasn't even for me, that I thought was, or thought that I wanted. And when you look back, it's like, I didn't even want that. Other people wanted that for me, but I didn't even want that. What I'm doing, what I like, is what I want. And so, but I also learned that when whatever it is, your method of manifestation, praying, affirmations, whatever your method is, you have to be serious in that wanting, because things will start to shift. Things will start, and it'll happen fast the more passionate you are about it. And what I've noticed is when I start asking for things that I really want and things start falling apart, I used to get upset. I used to get sad, or like, oh my God, I'm asking for this, but why is this falling apart? It's falling apart because it's making room for you to grow. You're discontent.
Imagine if God answered all of those prayers, and now you're like, oh no.
You're made to be discontent to force you into what you're supposed to do. Like, because if you were content, why would you be forced into doing the other thing? That's your vision and your passion and your purpose. So he has to make you uncomfortable to answer that prayer.
Well, we need to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because here's the reality. Nothing happens in the comfort zone.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no growth in the comfort zone.
So, I will say this. So I have learned to ask for comfort in those. Like, okay, if you're going to shift things around, like, make it easy for me. Like, don't, because I've had things fall apart and it's like, wait, I didn't want that. Like, so it's like, okay, make things happen in a way that's not going to be detrimental to me, that's not going to harm me in any kind of way, financially, my heart, like, because you have to be focused.
Oh yeah.
Like, because if you do want a vision and it is entrepreneurial, if you're sad or if you're worried about money, you can't be focused, because now you're focused about how you're going to pay your bills, how you're going to keep the lights on. But if you say it in a way like, hey, take care of me and allow me to do this in a way that I'm financially abundant, where I'm not worried about anything, then it'll happen a different way. But you have to be very specific in your asking.
I love that. I love that. I've been practicing that too. So
Yeah.
I love it. I wanted to share something that I really loved about everything that you said, is how you described how you wrote each one of those songs.
Mm-hmm.
My background is, of course, a lot of Brazilian culture.
Yeah.
And we have several different genres that Brazilians created. And one of the most common things in Brazilian music is poetry. And it's maybe a little different than American poetry, because there's a different way of saying it. It's a little more simple. It's not a complicated, Shakespeare language kind of thing. It's easy to understand, but it's absolutely incredible. And there's such a mix of cultures there, that our music is very, very rich in feelings. And I think that that's part of the culture. That's when you go from one country to another, you see how people are, you feel that, right? Yeah. And so for me, I'm just thrilled to hear that you're going that route, because I know that there's so many people around the world who would love that too. And I know how much Brazilians love to be inspired by the rest of the world. They love foreigners, by the way. And they partner with many singers too to do things. So I just want to just drop that little seed, because there is so much beauty there that you could bring along. And they love American singers. So I'm just saying. I just like, oh my gosh, they need to know her.
Well, and music is such a universal language. It was funny. I had the opportunity. I was in Miami just this last week, and we were staying at the Fontainebleau Resort. My brother was celebrating his 25th anniversary. We're at the pool, right? It's amazing. You got some of everything at the pool. And ultimately what we saw is in that pool, everybody started to come together, and they were dancing and singing. And I mean, that's what music can do in the midst of all this divisiveness, all the political unrest, the racial tensions and so forth. You literally can utilize music as a nurturing, it's not healing, polarizing. It brings you together, right? As that nucleus of togetherness. So very powerful from that standpoint. So I applaud you, and keep doing what you're doing, and the way you do it, and your attitude toward it, and your approach it's amazing. So you can teach a lot of people that it doesn't have to be the hardcore, low down, I want people to be happy, and you ain't got to twerk all over the place. You don't have to be naked. It's okay. That words matter, right? I'm a branding expert. You see?
Well, what you're saying about the writing, like I sometimes call them downloads, because a lot of times I feel like it's being poured into me for me to write. Like I literally sometimes just like start writing. Like when I wrote Intuition, I put it down, I took a nap, and I didn't have like any emotion. It was just like kept coming to me till I was done. I woke up from my nap, and like sometimes I'll go back and read just to make sure I didn't have any like rhythm issues. Like, and when I read it, I cried, and it was almost like I was reading something that I've never seen before. It was that like my own poem that I wrote touched me. So it's like, wow, like this is crazy. Like after I came back to it. And so, I want, when people not only listen to my music, but when I have interviews like this and they get a chance to hear me speak, they know more about what it's about. And if you weren't listening to it before, like different things you were saying, I have a song with that in it. Something you said, I have a song with that in it. Like I have something for everybody. So whether you like R&B or neo soul or spoken word or EDM, I got you. Like gospel, I have that too. So if you want to be inspired, you can listen to my music. If you want to have fun, you can listen to my music. If you want to fall in love, if you need to break up, you can listen to my music. It just depends, because I also advocate like wellness. Like I want when people hear about me, I want them to know that I want not only for myself to be happy, but I want that to be spread. I feel like if more people are authentic and happy with themselves, it would be less conflict and less like, social media trolls and things. And I want people to get back to like being happy with themselves and being happy with their lives and know how to do that.
Oh my gosh. Everything, the energy that you're transmitting right now is absolutely amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We said a lot of very important things that our listeners are going to take in. But if you have to leave them with one last thought, it could be attached to the message that you're sending or something that's coming around the corner. What would you leave them with today?
Piggybacking off something she said, that music is a universal language. I actually said that I did a poetry thing for the library a couple of years ago, and that's exactly what I said. My song, Oh My God, on my second album starts off with that. You mind if I sing a snippet of it?
Please do it. Yes.
It's just a cappella. Music is a life force. Let it take control. Let me get you in the zone. If you're young or old, get your vibes clearer. Oh my God. Rock this big beat while you dance in the mirror. And then the music starts. Big Beats is the producer who's my cousin. So
nice.
Yes, beautiful. Beautiful.
So how can people find you?
KHuggs.com. Everything is there. So just go to KHuggs.com. All of my social media links are there. My EPK is there, my electronic press kit. I have it sorted by genre. So whatever genre you like,
That's awesome.
if you click on that, it has all my music in that genre. Even features that I'm on are on that page. So you can sort by genre, features, everything on my website and find all my social media. It's all there. KHuggs.com.
That's awesome. And if you guys are watching this episode, you have to click like and you need to share it. So
please
other
like
people, yes, other people can feel inspired and know the power within you is far greater than anything else. And if you tap into that and you be your authentic self, you're going to start truly loving your life. This show is brought by some of my sponsors, which is Forever Living, the aloe company who transformed my wellness, Purium, who is the transformational company through a lifestyle transformations through superfoods. And if you go to Florida, you owe me this one. We're going to my brother's bar. He's a sommelier, the best bar in Fort Lauderdale, called Through the Vine. Okay, and this show is produced by the I Am Beast Network and Andre the Beast Creighton. This is Jessica Javens Talk. I'll see you on next episode.